BJ from More Game Gumbo. I've got my guest here, Dale Yu from the Opinionated Gamers, and also from BGG, and we're talking some of the spicy hot games. One of those games that I haven't played, that Dale has played, is a game I'm not going to try to pronounce. Dale, can you say this one for me?
Yeah, so this is Hallertau, which is the name, I think, of a town or a city in Germany. And, it's going to come out from Lookout, I believe, in October. I mean, I think it was slated to be the huge Essen release for the year. But it's a Rosenberg game, so of his recent history. So it's, I think has the same kind of feel as a little bit of Agricola, a little bit of Odin. It's just one of these games that has a whole bunch of cards that interact with each other. Multiple ways to score points, but it's a really
games, then more of the farming economic type.
Yeah, okay. yeah. This is another farming game. You have a board with fields where you plant, crops and make things, and then this picture here is one of the actions. So it's also a worker placement game. It has a pretty nice worker placement thing where every round you get a set number of workers, and then obviously it's the usual bit about trying to, how many workers do you need to take the actions you want? And sometimes you'll take a crummier action because it costs less as far as the people cost is.
Hey, Brandon, this is not the Draft Mechanic podcast. I don't know those kind of hops, so I'm going to trust you. Brandon says it's also a variety of hops. So, and by the way, I borrowed these pictures from your feed, so thank you for, I want to make sure I give credit to you. Yeah. So. I'm not sure where you got the pictures, but I'm assuming that these are some of the publisher pictures.
These are pictures I think that I just cut and pasted out of I dredged them out of the PDF rulebook. So at the top you can see that's the main player board. The little house there, it kind of moves to the right as you move on, and there are those 5 little buildings in the middle where the number 3 is.
Oh, sure.
The rules say, hey, in number 3 you do this. Anyways, those buildings all move off to the right. You pay to move them to the right. And as they all move forward, the little farmhouse kind of travels behind it. And as it travels to the right, you get more workers per round, and then eventually you get more victory points. So the whole idea of the game is to get enough resources to move those buildings forward, the little buildings, which then move the big building forward to get you stuff.
Jay talked about the art. Are we talking about Uwe's favorite artist? Is it typical artwork here? Or
I'm almost positive that it's Klemen's. I mean, man, it looks like Klemen's art. I mean, but he's pretty much the in-house guy for
Lookout.
For Lookout. So, and he's a good buddy. We've Klemen's and I and Hano from Lookout worked together. We actually co-designed a game that lost the frickin' Kennerspiel to my brother. Geister.
It's tough. That is tough.
Yeah.
See, Steve says it's Klemen Franz and also Lukas Siegmon. Hope I'm saying that right.
Yeah, I don't know Lucas, but yeah, I mean, most of the art, certainly the cover art is Klemen's. Yeah, and then these are plenty of action cards. There are 4 different decks, and the game itself is meant to be modular. I mean, in the print and play that I have, which was a beast to print out, you only get 1 of each of the decks. But I think in the full release there will be at least 4 decks, 4 varieties of 2 of the types of decks, so that you can mix and match them and have, a nearly infinite number of combinations to play. Kind of like Agricola, where they have all those different occupation decks. And then
I'm thinking in my head, and that's why I was staring off into space. I'm thinking in my head, if somebody had asked me to P&P Agricola or Caverna, wow, that would have been a nightmare. That would be a big job.
Oh, I did that too for Lookout, but that is not the worst. The worst one was frickin' Suburbia, because Ted kept making these hexes that I had to print out, and there's no way that you can use a paper cutter to cut hexes. You gotta get there with scissors and cut them all out by hand.
Oh, wow, that's a lot of cutting. Suburbia. All right, so just some thoughts on Hallertau?
Yeah, I mean, if you like Agricola, Feast of Odin, you'll probably like this one. It plays quicker, though, 60 to 90 minutes.
Interesting. And that is Hallertau coming out from Lookout Games. Is that going to be an Essen Spiel release?
That's what I'm told.
Yeah. So take a look at that. I know we have some that's hops on the card. It's not the Draft Mechanic podcast, friend. I'm going to lose control of the show if we start talking about beer. All right.